Go. Hey, what's good? Okay, been a while since I recorded one of these, considering there's such a huge gap between me recording the last episode and me releasing the last episode, but we are back on our weekly grind. And as always, we have a good amount of things to talk about. Like I always like to say, if you have any topics from the week that you would like for me to talk about or suggest for me to talk about, please come get into contact with me by clicking one of the links in the description. Either my Discord or my Twitter is a good way to get to me. Just send it to me. I will accept it. Anyways, moving forward. We have a good amount of info today. I'm going to actually do something a little different. Normally, I just cover everything full on over the week because I've spent all of the week before working on the actual last video. I didn't actually get to cover a lot of the stuff that happened last week, so I'm going to basically just do a quick triple bullet point thing for the things that happened last week. Okay, so apparently Epic Games bought the Fall Guys devs, which is something. Not Devolver Digital, they're the publishers, like the actual developers specifically for Fall Guys. So now that belongs to them. I don't think that's going to affect Fall Guys itself, like they're not going to take it off the PSN or anything, or Steam or anything like that. It's going to still be there, right? It's just that now they own those devs, so if anything happens in the future, like a Fall Guys 2, it might very well be exclusive to the Epic Games Store or whatever. Who cares? Honestly, great. The Fortnite devs now own the friggin' Fall Guys devs. Another thing that happened is that Guilty Gear Strive got delayed till July 11th. This is a bit of a big topic, but for the most part, a lot of people have covered it in more detail than I could have. Honestly, I think this delay is a good thing, because while the game looks perfectly fine, there are some still issues, like the lobby system that people still have a lot of problems with, a bunch of other stuff that could obviously be fixed or polished or improved upon. So just delaying it to July ultimately is a good decision, I think, because it's just going to make the game better in the long run. It's already really good, so if they polish it even more, then it'll just be a diamond instead of a slightly more dirty diamond, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think that's a good call, all things considered, and I'm still looking forward to that game. Okay, final bullet point in this thing is that Pyra and Mythra, the feature characters from Xenoblade Chronicles 2, dropped in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Obviously, I already made a video reacting to the presentation. I can't do content on that, you know, because I don't have a capture card, but, you know, that's a thing. They're very fun to play. I personally enjoy them. Their playstyle is, like, Mythra's super duper fast, which is fun to play as, and then Pyra is, like, way more grounded and slow, but at the same time hits really hard and has, like, really good zoning capabilities, and, like, fits my ex-Morph main sensibilities pretty well. So yeah, no, I enjoy them very well. They're probably going to become ridiculous as time goes on, especially when, like, offline play returns, but yeah, we'll see how that goes. I kind of suspect nerfs in the future for them, but yeah, that's that. Also, the patch came out and a bunch of, like, big characters also got nerfed, like Palutena I think got nerfed, Wario as well, a bunch of others as well just got nerfed, and, like, that's gonna change the meta going forward. But again, who really cares about all that details? I just wanted to mention it quickly here. Let's get into the actual bullet points I have for this week. Okay, so you know how I always do. We gotta cover some KOFXV news. We actually have two announcements, since again last week I didn't record a video last week because I didn't think there was enough stuff there and I need a break pretty much. I didn't want to just immediately jump right back into more news, right? So yeah, newest SNK news and sort of less newest SNK news is that back last week during March 3rd, we got an announcement for Andy Bogard from Fatal Fury to be in KOFXV. Now, Andy is a pretty common featured character in the series. This isn't a huge announcement or anything. Like, the fact that Andy's here is not surprising, especially since Joe was already there and he's a key part of the Fatal Fury team in KOF for, like, a long time. There's very rare times where you have the Fatal Fury team without Andy and Joe. It only happened, like, once, I think. It's very unlikely. Yeah, Andy Bogard. That last name might sound familiar for a lot of y'all. That's because Andy Bogard is the younger brother, I'm pretty sure, of Terry Bogard. They're both orphans, but they have the same biological parents. They were both adopted by the same, like, parental figure, that being Jeff Bogard, and they both lost their parent figure, Jeff Bogard, to Geese Howard. They both have that whole plot line going with it. The only difference is that Andy's plot sort of took him in a different direction. He ended up moving to Japan and learning Shiranui style ninjutsu. And if that sounds familiar, that's because, yes, it's the same style that is practiced by other SNK veteran, Mai Shiranui, who happens to also be his girlfriend. Yeah, that's right. Like, I feel like Andy does not get a lot of respect, but you gotta remember at the end of the day, he has the single sole qualification of being the only person who is in a relationship with Mai Shiranui. So, you know, that's something. Sort of a serious character. He kind of doesn't get a lot of respect. He's also looks way better in this game. My god. Bro, if you don't understand, and I'm like, other people have pointed this out, right? But Andy in this game looks miles better than he did in KOF 14. In KOF 14, he looked like an alien crackhead. He looked awful. Actually god awful. And in this game, he's genuinely pretty. So, you know, we appreciate a glow up. We're gonna watch his trailer real quick. I've seen it, of course, before. Watch his classic gameplay. Bop, bop, bop. That elbow. And pasta. They've really been going, like, really, they've been reaching far back for these songs. Seriously, though, he looks great. He's kind of got that, he's a lot more built than he was in KOF 14, but he also has this pretty boy look to him. I don't know, it's interesting. Got his fireball. Seems like a special intro between him and Mai, which is a good look, because having special intros in a fighting game is always a good way to have a lot more personality. So them adding that potentially here is good. That could also just be a shot from the story mode, you know. But we'll see. Yeet. And he also kind of looks fun. I've never actually been attracted to playing him in the past, but but he looks really fun in this game. Shadow all expectations. Yeah, whatever. Right, so that happened. It was cool. It didn't have a next week. Expect this to happen. But regardless, next week we did get a character. And by next week, I mean this week. And that character is Yuri Sakazaki from the Art of Fighting franchise. This is the first character from the Art of Fighting franchise, I think, that was announced for this game. Yuri Sakazaki is another really old head in SNK and also King of Fighters. I'm pretty sure she's been in like every King of Fighters game, if not then most of them. She's been there for a while. Alright, Yuri Sakazaki is from the Art of Fighting originally. She's like Andy Bogard and like Joe Gashi. Did not start off in King of Fighters. She started off in Art of Fighting, and she is actually a bit of a plot important character in that series, which is to say, the original Art of Fighting's plot really basically Ryo Sakazaki, Yuri's older brother, basically going to save her after she was kidnapped by like mobsters in Southtown. And yes, that's the same Southtown that Terry Bogard's from. And as it turns out, throughout the whole experience of saving his sister from Mr. Big, the crime boss of Southtown at the time, there was also like a whole plot involving their dad, who was like basically indentured to the real person behind the whole thing, Geese Howard. Yeah, sound familiar? We just talked about him. Yeah, Geese Howard again. And yeah, that whole thing happened. But basically, after the first Art of Fighting, Yuri was freed, the whole family got back together, and they thought, you know what, actually, considering our sister/daughter was kidnapped last time, maybe we should actually train her in the martial arts. And then they did, and then Yuri basically became a playable character in the second Art of Fighting game. And since then has been making appearances in King of Fighters ever since as just like a character, you know. She's a bit of a joke character in a way, is like in that she's just got a really goofy personality, and she's sort of like a parody of Ryo himself, which is funny considering Dan Hibiki is also a parody of Ryo, and she's sort of also a parody of him. Like, it's strange. It's like she has a tendency to parody Street Fighter characters as well. She's just a goofy, fun character. Generally well loved. A lot of people think that this is their waifu. And yeah, no, cool character. We'll watch her trailer now. I have to say, in combination with Andy and how Yuri looks in this game really does look like way better, especially in the character models. Look at how nice she looks. She also got her braid back. She didn't have it in the previous game, but it's here. Bop. But like I said, she's a huge goofball. Bop. You know. Punk. They're very particular to only show the characters who have been in the game before. Because like Andy was getting his ass kicked before, and now Matankun is getting woken up just to get knocked out. He's getting the Dayquil and Nyquil treatment. You know what I'm saying? He does it to himself, man. Yeah. Bop. You don't get to see much of her, but you know, very interesting. And like with all the other goofy characters, shatter all expectations. She gets the post-credit sequence. Yeah, but that's pretty much it. Yeah, but no, that's fun. Cool, good to have her. She's the first Art of Fighting character. We knew Art of Fighting characters would be here. KOF's a huge crossover anyways. But yeah, we haven't had anything specific or structured in a while. They didn't say that we're going to see something next week, but they didn't say that with Andy either. Whatever, we probably are. A lot of people have been speculating as to who is going to be the next character. And pretty much the conclusion everybody seems to be coming to is that it's going to be Terry Bogard, right? There's a reason for that, because Terry, his birthday is actually next week, sometime around then. So it's probably the best time, right, to announce the character. Obviously, we know Terry's been back, because he's, unlike the other Fatal Fury characters, Terry Bogard has literally been in every King of Fighters game. He's never skipped a single one. And that's because he's the mascot of SNK. But, yeah, people have been assuming that he's going to show up next time. Of course, shatter all expectations. So don't expect anything. He might not, you know. I think it's inevitable pretty much, since this game isn't coming out till like next year. So we're going to be getting like announcements pretty much every week for the rest of the year. So we're eventually gonna get Terry announced at some point. It's inevitable. But yeah, people are saying that it's probably gonna be next week. I can see that. I definitely see that. And yeah, I look forward to whatever they announce next. Moving on to our next point. Okay. So apparently, TWEWY, the TWEWY anime, is gotten another trailer. And of course, like I said many times, I'm a huge The World Ends With You fan. So, you know, we're about to check this out. Probably gonna have to chop it up a bunch, you know, so I don't get copyrighted. But we're gonna take a look at it. I never actually watched this, by the way. I specifically avoided it. So I don't know what's in it, but you know, I know the plot of the game. The Shinigami game, or the Weaver game, as it's called in English. Yeah, my guy Joshua. Can't believe I almost called him Joseph. I've never really heard any of these characters, like, Japanese voice actors. So I can't really speak for if they're using the same ones. They probably are, honestly. Yeah, there's that mixing of 3D and 2D. I think it looks really good. But we'll have to see. I can't say anything. I can't say the things I want to say. Like, all of this is plot stuff. I'm trying to avoid it. Wait. Hold the phone. No. We're not skipping over that part, though. Hold up. What? There. What? It was right there. Tap. Okay. My apologies. I saw the hand, and I thought it was Minamimoto's hand. I was like, who the hell's fist bumping? Show Minamimoto. Nobody. That's probably somebody else. Ooh, that looked kind of nice. All this fresh, spicy plot I all know about. Maybe I shouldn't react to this show. I know everything that happens. I do wonder if they're gonna add any of the plot stuff from the final remix version. I mean, they could. There's no limit on not being able to do that, since this seems to have been like announced way after Final Remix came out. So they could definitely have like some of that stuff towards the end, but who knows? We'll see. At very least, it's going to be a faithful retelling of the original plot, which, you know, I'm down for. But anyways, moving on. Like, okay, this one's really cool. Alright, so our next piece of news is that there's apparently a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles beat-em-up game being made in the style of the classic Konami game, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Turtles in Time for the SNES. Which, by the way, is one of the greatest beat-em-up games ever made. But that's not all. On top of that, this game is being made by the same team that made Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, which is another one of the best beat-em-up games ever made. They also made Streets of Rage 4, and this game looks good. Type good. It's also using the aesthetic of the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon, which is actually the version of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that I have the most exposure to. No, I'm not a boomer. Get off my case. The reason I have such an exposure to these characters specifically is because I grew up always being around my uncle who grew up during this time and watched this show pretty much religiously as a kid, right? So my exposure to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was mainly based on him watching episodes of this show, and I watched it on YouTube on my own time. I never really got into the other versions because I wasn't as familiar with it, because this was my first introduction. And so, yeah, I'm very hyped for this game. It looks good as hell. Now, it definitely takes a ton from the Turtles in Time, because you also have like mechanics like throwing enemies into the screen, coming back, stuff like that. A lot of the just like general aesthetics and looks of it. Definitely, of course, the theming of it being after the 90s Turtles specifically. And it looks great. I can't play the trailer because it has they actually use the original theme song in it, which means that I can't play it because that will absolutely get copyrighted. But pretty much the footage you're seeing here, this GIF from Polygon, is from the trailer. And as you can see, it looks pretty good. Very hype, personally, from me, that this game is even being made. Definitely something to look forward to at very least. This game looks good, alright? This is going to be a good game. Guaranteed. You combine inspiration of one of the best beat 'em up games and the developers of another one of the best beat 'em up games, and you got yourself a winning strategy. I'm pretty sure. Just that, and just like the animations in general and whatnot are just super expressive. Like, everybody has a lot of personality. You can tell a lot of love and effort went into this game, and I'm looking forward to it. Okay, so another sort of minor stuff. This is a really low stakes week. Buildabear has announced, the teddy bear company. I've never actually been to a Buildabear, by the way. Really only as old as 1997? That's strange. But yeah, they're teaming up with Nintendo to make Animal Crossing New Horizons based teddy bears for people to buy. And that's, if you don't understand why that's a huge deal, Animal Crossing is extremely popular, and extremely popular with people who like cute things like teddy bears. So the fact that this exists means that Nintendo about to get a fat whack again. They've been doing Animal Crossing merch for a while that's almost explicitly targets the large female demographic of the Animal Crossing fandom, but also just like everybody who likes like Animal Crossing stuff, or just like likes the kind of products they're making. But like, bro, they made like a makeup palette based on Animal Crossing, and that shit sold out instantly. This is now they're making teddy bears, bro. They are really running Animal Crossing girls' pockets right now. They said, "Hey, you want this adorable plushie? You want some makeup based on this beloved franchise? Well, run your pockets, empty them right now. Yeah, hug that shit. Yeah, enjoy it. I know you love it. I know you love it. We love your money." I mean, I know I'm trying to make this sound like it's so much more thuggish than it actually is. It really ain't. It's a good thing. Honestly, I feel like Nintendo in general really needs to just like merchandise their franchises a little bit more. Not too much, because if you put your finger in too much of that merchandising pie, you can fall into the problem that like Pokemon and a lot of other franchises fall into, where they literally only make new entries just to make like products to sell. And I know Nintendo doesn't want to do that, because like they're very particular about being about video games specifically, right? Which is why they don't like make a lot of movies or TV shows or plushies and whatnot. They're very particular about keeping into that particular market, which I respect. I respect that. But honestly, if they should dip in a little bit more, because I feel like that would be it'd make a lot of cool products for the fans. It's not like they don't. It's just, you know, it's not advertised as much, not as much put out there. You could make a lot of money doing this if you really want to. I think they should definitely like keep their distance to a degree, but still they should tiptoe a little bit closer in. You know, there's no harm in getting some more like Nintendo based merchandise that's like widely advertised and like, you know, a big deal. Because like Animal Crossing especially, that's just free money. The second they announced this, I'm sure like people popped off. I already like saw people popping off, but I'm sure this is gonna sell out like crazy. You better get on top of this if you wanna be on top of this. Like they say, sign up for free emails and text updates. Do it. If you really want to get one of these Buildabears, do it. You're gonna have to have that frame perfect reaction time. You have to be like, oh, announcement, brah, 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 ordered. You gotta be quick. Alright? Don't play around with these Animal Crossing girls. They aren't playing around with you. Okay? That's all I gotta say. But, yeah, moving on. That was a nice topic, but nothing more else to say. Alright, final piece of news for this week, and it's sad. Okay, so, back in 2018, Nintendo announced that they're working with Dark Horse to make a graphic novel based on the ARMS franchise, which was a new franchise that came out at the time, back in 2017. Obviously, pretty much everybody already knows about ARMS. If you were a Nintendo fan, or if you just play Super Smash Brothers, you probably know about Min getting in the game. That's the franchise she's from, and this ARMS graphic novel was really promising looking. They actually gave it away for like free comic day back in 2018, and it was looking really promising. It was focusing on Springman and like all the characters and whatnot. But apparently that graphic novel has officially, or at least very likely, been canceled. I'm pretty sure that the guy actually working on it has basically reported that they cut the plug on it, which is not surprising, might I add. It's not surprising that this happened, because we hadn't heard anything from it in like 3 years. Like, it's been since 2018 since we saw anything of this. So it was pretty, like, the fact that it's getting canceled does not surprise me. If we didn't see anything since then, pretty much means it's nothing to see, and they're probably just not supporting it in general. I thought that like there was a pretty, like from what I saw of it, there seemed to be like a good attention to detail in here. Like they reference all of the characters, reference their origins. Obviously, I think like the art's a little strange in the eyes, but like you get to see like some really good shots. A lot of it's like faithful to lore. You have things like Master Mummy looking all grim, and they respect the fact that like his story has to do with his family. There's also like this really good artistry here with like the crack mirror while he's looking in on the window while talking about his family. You know, that's symbolism. This looked like it had a lot of potential, but unfortunately we're never going to see any of that potential realized, unfortunately. The real reason why a lot of people were really hopeful for this particular graphic novel is because ARMS as a franchise has a ton of really good lore in the background, but it doesn't have a story mode in the actual game, which is a very missed opportunity. I think that Nintendo really needs to get on that. If they ever make an ARMS 2, there needs to be a story mode or some sort of plot tying everything together. That's something that Splatoon actually can boast to have, is that it does actually have a main, like, single player focused mode. This game pretty much only had an arcade mode. It didn't really go into everybody's details as much. I think this is a good opportunity to do that. Now, it's not to say they haven't made lore for all these characters or like expanded upon it. It's just only been like supplementary material like on Twitter and whatnot. It's not been like you have to look into it to even know certain details, like the fact that, hey, did you know that their masks are like inhibitors that allow them to control their powers? Like, you wouldn't know that if you weren't looking into it on their like their Twitter and whatnot. Apparently this information is coming like straight from Ian Flynn, who was working on the series and also had some work on the IDW Sonic the Hedgehog comic series and whatnot. Apparently this is not the only thing that they've canceled as well that's of a Western basis. I saw a tweet discussing something similar to that. Something to that effect, like they canceled production on a lot of other things. But yeah, pretty much everybody who was looking forward to it is bummed. You got this reaction, of course. No! I love this meme, by the way. Possibly one of the best memes out of, I don't remember what it was. Was it 2019 or 2018? 2020? I don't remember, but it was great. I was also a big fan of the 90s Spider-Man cartoon, so you know. Yeah, apparently they also, like, Dark Horse also stopped, like, producing SAO and Fate over here as well. So it's like, it's not the only thing that got cut, but I feel like this is something entirely separate. It's probably a part because of ARMS' like underperforming nature and the fact that like they probably weren't getting that much push from Nintendo or anything. They just silently dropped it. It's unfortunate, but you know, such is life. Pretty much our only hope for getting new plot for ARMS is basically if Nintendo themselves decides to do it in ARMS 2, which I'm still hoping for. We're still holding out hope on that. The fact that Min Min is in Smash is a good sign. It's just a matter of if we ever actually see anything come of that. But yeah, that's that. It's a bit of a bummer to end out on, but I don't got anything else to add. That's the news, bro. But yeah, that's pretty much all we had for this week. Like I said, it was pretty short, not very eventful. But that works for me, alright? Then I don't have to edit forever. This video might actually end up under 30 minutes. I've been editing for 30 minutes! It's never that short. It's like, I literally have to watch the whole VOD again and do it. It's quite annoying. But, yeah. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Like I always say before, like at the beginning of the video and whatnot, please, if you want to suggest news topics going forward that you want me to cover, please get into contact with me on the links in the description, my Twitter, of course, and my Discord. Also, check out my Twitch channel. We are currently streaming Persona 5 Strikers, crazy, like super duper heavy, and I've been enjoying the hell out of that game. We're streaming on Saturdays consistently. That's always what I'm trying to do. So, you know, look out for that. There's also my anime reaction channel if you want to check that out. I'm probably going to start supporting that more and more going forward, especially when eventually JoJo comes back. You know I'm going to be on top of that. But like I said, also the TWEWY anime I'll probably cover as well. And yeah, please remember to like, favorite, subscribe if you enjoyed it. Please share this video around. I really appreciate it. And yeah, well, have yourself a good day. I hope you're having a wonderful day despite everything. And you're taking care of yourself. But that's all. See ya. ダメだね、ダメよ、ダメなのよ。あんたが好きで好きすぎて、どれだけ強いお酒でも歪わない思い出がバカみたい